Please join me in welcoming Shaun Pruett.
Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing?
Great. How are you?
I see that some of you have coffee that you brought in your own cups. That's good. It means you started early. So I'm glad to be here. I want to tell you guys about one of the programs that PATHE does. PATHE has been around since 1984. We just celebrated our 25th anniversary. And we've been helping people who are homeless or at risk of homelessness in Los Angeles and other areas that whole time. So we've been doing this work for a long time. We're known around the country for our services to the homeless. One of our really big achievements was the PATHE Mall that we started in 2002, which was a full-service center where people can come and get pretty much anything that they want if they are trying to become, if they're homeless and they're trying to get into a permanent housing situation. Just like you can go to a shopping mall and get about anything you want, you can go to this mall and get about anything you need for a person who's homeless. So I want to start telling you about this program today with a brief story. About 4 or 5 weeks ago, there was a family, a young mom and dad, and they're getting their kids ready for bed, going through the bedtime routine, and they were getting their pajamas on, getting their teeth brushed, reading the bedtime story, doing all the things the parents do with their kids, getting them ready to go to bed at night. And so they finally tuck them in, kiss them goodnight, turn off the light. It's what people do all across LA, all across the country, every night with their children. I do that with my son every night. Except this family, on that night, they were in their car. So this family had been living in their car for several months. Dad had lost his job. He'd been laid off. He had skills, but unfortunately, he was out of work, and they had to move out of their place, and they were living in their vehicle. Fast forward to last night. Same situation, putting their kids to bed, tucking them in, reading the story, doing all the things, kissing goodnight, turn off the light. But this time, they're in a safe, warm apartment. They're in their own home. And this transformation was made possible in part because of the Homeless Prevention and Rapid Rehousing program. That's what I'm going to tell you about today and how you guys can benefit from that. So this program is called the Homeless Prevention and Rapid Rehousing Program. I'm going to give you a little history. It started in 2009, October 2009, and it is part of the federal stimulus package known as the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. So this is something that came down from the federal government to help people who are homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. So we serve both groups of people. Folks who are in an unstable situation, maybe a shelter, something like that, and they're getting into their own place, or people who are at risk because of financial burdens that they need some assistance. The purpose is to provide short-term assistance to households experiencing homelessness, primarily due to economic downturn, and to quickly rehouse them and promote stabilization and self-sufficiency. So it's not good for the economy if we have people who get laid off and then are out of their apartments and are in shelter, because that becomes a burden on the tax dollars. It becomes a problem for the family, and it's just destabilizing. The reason Yin, when I spoke to her, she asked me to come speak. She said, some of you guys have properties that you manage or that you own, and you have renters. And so it's better for you to continue to have stable renters instead of having to turn units and go through the costs associated with that. So that's really what the HPRP program helps to do. Okay, this program is not for everyone though. There is a pretty strict screening process that we go through when we have a new person come in and say that they want to take advantage of the program. We have to make sure that they are ready to be self-sufficient, that they can pay their bills. So we get kind of personal with people. We do a budget with them. We really go through their finances and what their work situation is. If they're not working, what are their prospects? Are they putting out applications and resumes? And so there's a pretty good vetting process that we go through. This program is not intended for people who require long-term assistance. It's not an entitlement program. So you can't just come to our program, the HBRP program, and say, I want you to pay my rent. Okay. Because if that was the case, I would suggest we all get in our cars and go down there, and they can pay off our rent. Why not? It's not that type of program. This is a program that has been rolled out nationwide. Many different agencies are doing it, and PATHE is just one of those. It is designed to assist people with minimal barriers to housing. It's not appropriate for people needing ongoing services. So I happen to work at PATHE has a transitional housing facility, and I work on the men's floor. So we have it's about 60 beds where people sleep on a nightly basis. They're working, they're saving their money. They could probably take advantage of this program, but right now it's not for them because they don't have the finances. They're not ready to move into permanent housing. They're not ready to pay their bills on a monthly basis. So that's not who this program is for. We've talked with lots of landlords, and we tell them the homeless prevention. They stop us right, homeless. I don't want any homeless people, coming around here because there's this stigma around people who are homeless. But the reality is, most of the folks that we've helped in this program in the city of Alhambra, which is the one that I work with, are people who are working hard, paying their bills, and had a hard time. And we come and we are able to assist them. It's more of a partnership than anything. Some of the services that we offer as a program, we really offer services to residents and also to property management companies and landlords. Some of the things are housing stabilization and locator services. So if someone comes to us and says, hey, I have money that I want to get into an apartment with, we're able to look around the city because we have relationships with landlords, and we can say, okay, well, I know this place, they're a good landlord, and I know they have a unit open, so why don't you go over here and talk to this landlord? So we can assist in that way. We actually have a list of landlords that's about that thick, and it's all the different properties in the city of Alhambra. So we've been going through that, calling people, saying, this is what we have. Do you have any vacancies? Can we assist you with keeping your units filled? Another one of those things is a security deposit and move-in. So if someone has a job and they're able to pay their rent and keep going, but they just don't have enough for the security deposit, we can say, okay, well, how much is it? It's $1,000. All right, we can cut a check and give it to the landlord, and there you go. And if you need first month's rent, we can assist with that too. But people don't have to pay that back, so it's not a loan. It's not like they're on the hook for that. It's money that we're able to give them so that they can get started in their apartment and get going. And then it's their responsibility to make the monthly payments, to set up the utilities, to do all those things. Rental assistance. We've had people who we've had to support for a couple of months, and then after that, they're stable again and they're ready to go. Utility setup fees, 6 months utility arrearages. So if they owe back to September, August to the gas company, we can help them with that. We can also help with rental arrearages. We've had people who had very kind and understanding landlords because they were $3,000–4,000 behind on their rent, and the landlords were working with them. They'd been there a long time. So we came in with a check for $4,000 and I would give that to them so that they were able to not be evicted. We also have a huge network and linkages to other services that we can connect people with as needed. And what's really unique and what I like about our program is that the person who runs is the case manager in Alhambra. I've worked with him for a few years. We worked in the job center together. And so he has a lot of skill with helping people with their resumes and getting them geared up to get back into employment. And so people get that plus the housing stuff as well. So it's a really unique situation. And I think those clients and those folks in Alhambra are really lucky to have him working. Okay, so here's some of the eligibility requirements. Average median income for LA County, that they have to be at or below that. So it is for people who are making less money. And it gives you the breakdown there. I also have some handouts that were going around, the fact sheet, and it has the breakdown on there as well. So you can see for 1 up to 6 people in the household. Priority is given to those with 30% AMI or below. And these are the things that they need when they come in. If verifiable homeless status if they're a person who is staying in their car, like the family I told you about.